The Castello di Milazzo is a castle and citadel in Milazzo, Messina, Sicily. The original fort, dating back from Neolithic times, is located on the summit of a hill overlooking the town. The strategic value of this location on the Milazzo Peninsula was that it dominated the Gulf of Bati and the sea which divided Sicily from the nearby Aeolian Islands. Critically, it benefited from a natural harbour also. The Normans built a castle here. The castle was extensively modified during the reign of Frederick II of Hohenstaufen. The Sicilian Parliament met here in the castle in 1295. The Bourbons lost Milazzo Castle to Giuseppe Garibaldi in 1860 as part of the reunification of Italy and Sicily. The castle became a prison in 1880 and closed in 1959. The castle was built in the 9th and 12th century by Rodolfo Bonello, who was of the Norman court of Count Roger, on the location of an earlier Arabic building. The castle enjoys a large courtyard, a 2-level residential area and a private chapel, along with a 15th century ballroom. The Abate family commanded the castle from 1283 to 1397 after Palmerio Abate aligned with Giovanni Procida during the War of the Sicilian Vespers. The castle is defended by a number of 17th century towers: Torre Muzza, Torre Franco, Torre Guardiola and the 18th century Tower of Life. Fiumefreddo, Cold River, developed in the 18th century around an earlier watchtower. Cold River is so named because the river is fed by melting snow from nearby Mount Etna. Castello dei Schiavi, Slaves Castle, is a Sicilian Baroque architecture castle. The building was used for several shots in the movie The Godfather Parts 1 and 2, for example, where Michael lives with Apollonia. To learn more about La Bella Sicilia, consider subscribing. Donnafugata Castle is a neo-Gothic castle dating from the 19th century. The name means woman who fled. A legend records that the widow of King Martin I of Aragon hid here from Count Bernardo Cabrera, who sought marriage in order to rule over Sicily. To this end, Donnafugata fell under siege by Cabrera, where ultimately the widow fled to Steri Palace in Palermo. Another legend records the castle is so named after Queen Maria Carolina, wife of Ferdinand IV, who was detained here by Lord William Bentinck, the British military governor of Sicily from 1811 to 1816. Like most Sicilian legends, this story is heavily disputed. Castello Donnafugata was used during the filming of the TV series Montalbano and also for the movie Chaos. Calatabiano Castle was founded by the Arabs 160 metres above the sea. Calatabiano was an Arab base to attack Taormina in 902. The name is at least partly Arabic, the word Kalat meaning castle. In 1254, the Pope gave Giovanni Moro Calatabiano Castle in return for military support in Sicily. The pirate Dragut landed here in 1544 and overran the village. The castle and the nearby village were abandoned in 1693 due to two natural disasters, an earthquake and an eruption of Mount Etna. The Zisa is a castle in Palermo, Sicily. It is a UNESCO World Heritage Site from 2015. It is inspired by Moorish architecture. The word Zisa comes from the Arabic word al-Aziz, which means splendid. This word is written at the entrance and is typical for Islamic buildings at the time. Zisa was built in the 12th century by Arabic workers on behalf of William I of Sicily, known as William the Bad, and also William II, known as William the Good. It was a summer residence for the Norman kings, as was Cuba Sottana. Joan of England, Queen of Sicily, widow of William II, was held here by Tancred of Sicily. The region of Sicily restored and rebuilt the dilapidated Zisa in the 1990s. La Cuba is a palace built in an Arabic style in Palermo, Sicily. La Cuba was built in 1180 by William II of Sicily, William the Good, in his great royal park as a recreation pavilion and coupled with an artificial lake. The king and his court would spend leisure time next to the cooling fountains and citrus gardens and attend parties here in the evening. Michele Amari, the greatest scholar of Arabic and Norman Sicily, discovered an epigraph in Arabic here, which translates to, "In the name of the merciful God, take care, stop and note, all the earth, William II, the Christian king. There is no castle worthy of him. Praise be everlasting to God. May he keep him full and give him benefits for all his life." This demonstrates the tolerance and openness of the Norman court under William II. Many in the Norman courts in Sicily were Arabs, including Idrisi, the greatest geographer of his time. Boccaccio, the Italian author of the Decameron, marvelled at the Cuba and included it as a location in his work, the Decameron. Subsequently, the lake was drained and the buildings used as a hospital from the plague of 1576 to 1621. It was a lepers' colony in the 16th century. The Bourbon kings of Naples used it as a barracks for Burgundian mercenaries. Castello Manfredonico is a Norman Gothic castle and was built in 1370 by Manfredi III Chiaramonte, Count of Modica. It is built on a high rock outcrop. Alarmingly, it has halls, a dungeon, torture cells, as well as a chapel dedicated to St. George, the protector of the Chiaramonte family, and to the Madonna della Catena. Don Giuscardo della Potes, serving King Martin I of Sicily, died fighting Andrea Chiaramonte and is now believed to haunt the building. In 1391, Andrea Chiaramonte fell out with the Queen of Sicily, Maria. He was soon executed afterwards. The castle was redeveloped in the 15th century. In addition to the chapel, the so-called throne room, there was a death chamber with trapdoors, along with the Room of Three Women, where it is said 3 women were walled in alive. The tragedy of Laura Lanza happened here in 1563. She was murdered by her father, Cesare, for taking a lover. Laura's lover was killed by her husband. Cesare Lanza ruled the castle from 1564 as Count of Mussomeli, but his son Ottavio later abandoned it and used it as a prison. More recently, it was visited by Kaiser Wilhelm II of Germany, who was curious about the legends relating to this castle.